Well, we got back together again in 2009. Then we went on tour in 2009, 2010, which is down to you.
Right, here's the $1 million question I want to ask you. Do you think you could do the same again by putting everything to one side for the sake, not of your own ego, not mine, not the boys, the band, but for the millions of people that want to hear the band again? Could you do it?
Stars, cars, guitars.
Tony Hadley here on Stars, Cars and Guitars, a special YouTube channel that we've started. And normally my friends Alex and Jim are joining me, but for today's or tonight's episode or whatever, I've blown them out because I'm here with my great, one of my oldest friends, a lovely, lovely fella, Shane Richie. Shane Richie! Hey!
We're in the Dodger car. Everybody watching on the channel now, you're going to feel sick.
Hey!
Here we go. Hey, how are you, buddy? Nice to see
I'm
you.
all
You're
right,
looking
mate.
well. You look good, mate. You look good.
I'm not sure about your hat.
No, look, I'll show you. Look at the state of my barnet.
Oh,
Look,
wow.
the real man. This is lockdown, mate. Listen,
That's
when
lockdown, but
I'm a hairdresser, we're still
mine's
using
just
the
getting so. I've got. Do you know how much product I've got in my hair? It's
What, do you know how much
ridiculous.
time?
Shane Richie, have you got a cup of tea?
Mate, listen,
Yes.
look at that. See, this is old merchandise I found because I've been going through my shed. As soon as you and the boys are into sheds and the boys in their sheds, then I'm going to be on that program. But this is old merchandise. It's an old mug. That was my SR logo when I toured back in 1999. And I found a box of these old mugs. So if any boys, so I'm now drinking from a Shane.
I know times are hard, mate. You're not flogging them off, are you?
Oh, no, not yet. But it is only a matter of time, I'll tell you that.
Listen,
It's only a
before
matter
we
of
go
time.
anywhere on this, right, we go back such a long way. Where did we first meet? Where was the first time that me and you met, had a beer? Do you remember? Your memory is probably better than mine.
I think it was 1986. And the reason why I know this, because I've still got on DVD, or it might be VHS, was it Through the Barricade? Was it called, what was
Through
it
the
called?
It was through the 1986 would have been Through the
I
Barricades.
think you did Bournemouth, and I'd just done a summer season, and that's the year I met Colleen, and they were supporting Cannon the Ball, and I was doing this.
Yeah.
And I think you guys come and did the Sunday there, or out of season, whatever. But I remember coming along and going backstage and saying hello, and we kind of, and don't forget, mate, this was before mobile phones.
Yeah.
But we said hello. You knew I was a blue coat. You told me about your time.
Pontins.
And then in 89, 90, I was the co-host when Sky was first launched at the old Windmill Theatre, which was called Paramount City on and Windmill Street. Derek Jameson was the host. I was the co-host, and I would talk to all bands. And I think you might have came in with either Steve or
did.
And we sat at the bar and I interviewed you, and I've still got that on VHS, funny enough. And that was 1990. And from there, we stayed in touch because it wasn't long after that, you and the boys split up, and then it got a bit messy, and we kind of stayed in touch. You with your first wife, I was with my first wife. It was all rosy. It was a...
So that's a long time. Wow.
Over 30 years ago, my friend.
Wow. Good.
Yeah. 35 years ago.
Shit.
Right, here's the $1 million question I want to ask you.
All right, go on.
You know what I'm going to... But listen, before I do, when you got back with the boys, and listen, I dine out on this, how when I was hosting a show on Virgin Radio, and
I will never forget it.
Yeah, and we'd had a cut. There was me, you, Suggs. I think, was Nick Kershaw there? Yeah,
Nicky might have been, Nicky Kershaw, yeah.
And you kept saying to me, Sean, I don't want to talk about Spandau. I went, all right, have another glass of wine. Yeah, I'm not going to talk about it. All right.
Well, Suggs, he was on it as well. We were
all on it. And I said, will you ever get back with Spandau? And I remember you saying, oh, Shane, just to shut you up, all right, I will. And you said it as a joke. Well, it made the headlines the next day, didn't it?
I know.
It made all the press. And then you had to go and do a TV show in Scotland. And every show you were doing, they kept asking you about getting back with Spandau. And you said, oh, I'll do it just to shut my mate Shane Richie up. Mate, I've still got them paper clippings now. That I've got. And when I've spoken to Steve, John or Martin in the past, they would say, I was a small part of helping you get the boys back together.
Yeah.
And it worked.
Yeah, no, I gave you credit in every interview. I said, it was a mate, Shay Richie. He just kept on driving me mad. So I just said it to shut him up. And lo and behold, here we are. And
it worked. When was that? 2003?
That was, God, you know, mate, I can't remember. I mean, because you were at Virgin, Suggsy, I was at Virgin, Suggsy was there as well. God, it's a long time ago.
I think it must have been 2005. No, was it that far? When did you last tour with the boys?
Well, we got back together again in 2009, and I remember...
Oh, it must be 2008 then.
Yeah, and John Keeble phoned me up, because I was in touch with Steve and John and stuff, and he said, look, you know, everybody wants this. You've let it out the bag, you know, because of Shane and everything else. It took me another 6 months to get my head around the idea. And the final linchpin was, of course, me and Gary. And we met in the Flask in Highgate with John Keeble as the mediator. It was like he was the Henry Kissinger between two people who wanted to kill each other. And it'd be
like Donald Trump and Joe Biden.
Oh, yeah. It was unbelievable. And I had to get something off my chest, and he had a bit of and I sort of thought, if this is going to work, we've got to put what happened behind us. We can't forget it because it happened, and I'm never going to forget it. What you did, and we sort of agreed to move forward for, I think, in a way, for our own sanity, because you carry a lot of baggage from these things, and so then we went on tour in 2009, 2010, which is down to you.
I was there at the opening night in Dublin. Here's the thing.
I know.
Here's the thing. Do you think you could do the same again by putting everything to one side for the sake, not of your own ego, not mine, not the boys, the band, but for the millions of people that want to hear the band again? Do you think you could push everything? And I'm saying it as one of your oldest mates. Okay?
No.
Do you think you could just push all that to one side and say, you know what, we're going to do this because it's 40 years, 40 years since the album and all
40th,
that. Yeah. Do you think you could push it all to one side, sit down, because it's going to take you and Gary. The rest of the boys will fall into place, but it'll take you and Gary to sit down and go, right, we're getting old now. We're getting old. We're relatives around us dying. You know this now. Around.
I know.
Did you push it to one side and go, come on, how can we make this work? Could you do it?
No. It went too far.
You're in a lovely crowd.
Mate, it went too far this time.
I know.
It went too far. I left the band that you know, I've never said what it is, but they did certain things that affected, you know, personally. I've told you personally what happened, what they did. And there are other people that know about it. I got to the point I thought, I don't want to be a part of this anymore. And, you know, I do very well on my own. I love my own band. And I want to be happy. And I just want to be happy in my own right. And if that means never playing the O2 in my own right ever again, I can deal with that. Royal Albert Hall, I'm happy with that. I'm going to be doing one of them next year.
I know. So you don't think, would you, okay, I don't want to keep, well, are you saying never say never?
No,
you know,
I'm saying no.
Let me face. Just face. Are you maybe just down the line, you'll give it some more thought? Down the line, not now. Just down the line.
No.
Punch you in the face.
Honestly, mate, I'm done. I can't do it again.
Okay, that's all I need to know.
Emotionally, I cannot.
Gary, again. He says no. I'll call you back. He says no. Sorry, mate.
Okay. No, you know when when you know it's over, it's over.
Yeah.
You know, we've been there in our personal lives and stuff, and you get to a point, you just, I can't do this anymore. It's doing that in.
You know what it's like? It's like, would you go back to the ex-wife? Of course I wouldn't.
No, I mean, listen.
I didn't like that. I had a great time while it lasted. Some horrible things were said, but we've moved on. They've moved, the house moved on. So why would you go back?
Well, exactly. I mean, it's. I'm still great friends with Lanny. We're fine with each other. I still care about her. Of course, she's the mother of my 3 kids, and and Colleen with your 2 eldest and stuff, and Shane and Jake.
You ain't going to go back.
No, exactly. And when you do move on, it's almost like sometimes you have to do for your own sanity. Really,
yeah.
It's how are the kids? By the way, how are all the kids? All right, Because you've got five kids, I've got 5 kids.
No, listen, my 2 oldest ones, they're adults like your kids.
Yeah.
They're all grown up. So, I speak to them when they want something. I listen, when we weren't in lockdown, I didn't see them. So it's not as if Jake, he's about to look. I don't know if he's a push baby, because they were Rixton. He's Jane Junior's about. He's getting married next year. But mate,
oh wow.
I've got to give credit to our wives. I mean, I know Ali's been homeschooling. Yeah. So's Christy. Listen, I'm happy. When you rang me and said, will you come and do this? I went, yeah, let me know what time, just so I can get out of homeschooling. My hands are painting. I've been painting little bits and models all day for a homeschool project. And I went, hurry up, Tony. When's 2:30 so I can talk to you? But I've got to give credit to our wives, because you tell her Ali's doing a great job. And so's Christy. I can't do it. Mate, put me on stage in front of thousands of people. I'll entertain you and I'll do the best I can. Give me a maths equation, I go to pieces, and I have anxiety attacks.
Well, I'm the same. I mean, but when it comes to geography, history, science, I'm okay. English, right? I mean, I went to grammar school, and I'm like, what? What's that? Fronted adverbials, onomatopoeia, and all that. So I mean, I know that some of them, but there's so many different things now. Personification, similes. Okay, we know similes, but there's so many bits, and I'm like, it's doing my head in, and I'm thinking, did I go to school? And then when it comes to the maths,
I go to pieces, and I start having breathing problems. I say, darling, I've got to go put some felt on the roof, on the shed roof. I'll be back in a couple of hours. I can't do it.
But that's when I get the Hoover out, and that's when I drive her really mad.
Yeah.
I mean, I've the same as you. I have never been at home for this long. Since I was a baby.
I know. Have you found since you've been? I mean, because I've not worked now since March, apart from doing I'm a Celebrity.
Same as.
Because I honestly thought, at this time I'm going to learn to play a bit more on the piano. I'm going to write some more songs. I'm going to finish that script. I can't do it. For some reason, I can't concentrate without thinking about what's going on. And I've been used to it. I mean, because I know you write songs and you love writing and all that. And what are you doing?
Mate, this is my day, right? Right. So get up you normally wake Zara up about 7 o'clock-ish. She's self-contained. She's in there and she's amazing. She's doing all the work all day long. She's self-contained. And I go back to bed for a little bit. I can't, 7 o'clock, I don't like 7 o'clock. Get up, feed the chickens, sort the chickens out, clean out the chicken coop.
This is an exclusive, ladies and gentlemen. Hadley feeds chickens every morning.
Then I feed the fish. It could be me or Ali doing it, but But that's so. Then we do let the dog out, does the business, feed the dog, and then we feed Genevieve, and then homeschooling starts. And if it's English or maths, that's ours department. Anything else, I'll have a go. And then you're thinking about mid-morning snacks, lunch, and then before you know it, we go for a walk after lunch just to get some fresh air. Do I get anything done, like music or anything? No. I've been meaning to restring my guitars, and I'm not a great guitarist. I'm a lousy guitarist, but I've been meaning to restring them for 4 weeks,
I know,
5 weeks. It's been so tough for people in our business at the moment. It's just weird. When you love what you do so much. I mean, I know, listen, you are so talented in so many ways. You sing, comedian, show.
Don't stop. Don't stop.
I mean, there's so many things that you've done over the years. And I've done, actually, when I look at it, I've done quite a few things as well. But you miss going on stage, seeing that audience. And it's, the money's lovely and everything else. But I feel that I'm not doing what I really, I'm just not doing what I want to do. I'm not fulfilling myself in any way. Hoovering doesn't make up for it.
No, these are it's so strange when you talk to a member of the general public and they say, oh, you're so confident, you're brazen, you air this confidence. We are the most insecure people on God's earth, and I'm talking about all performers. What we need, and you're right, you're saying about the money. Of course, the money's great, but sometimes at times like this, it becomes irrelevant. What we need is to get in front of people, to hear a round of applause, to a cheer, to hear a laugh. And that's our insecurity, Tony, that we need that. It's all very well our family saying, oh, come here, we love you, you'll always be a great dad or a husband or a great mate. We need to go in front of strangers to justify our existence. And as weird and as crass as it sounds, every performer needs that. Every performer.
I mean, I totally agree with you. I mean, it's for me, it's that audience, it's that adulation is not the right word, but you are right. We are terribly insecure. People say to me, 6 foot plus tone, big fella, struggles on stage, gives it the large in front of the festival audience and everything. I'm so nervous before I go on stage. I get butterflies. We've worked together.
I've been backstage with you, and I've seen how you conquer your nerves. You stand there in your underpants, ironing your shirts and trousers. I'll never forget when we did. You had your own show. I think the Royal Albert Hall.
That was it. Yeah.
Royal Albert, what a great gig. Thousands of people there come to see you perform with your band. And I've got my mate with me, Tony Tobin, the TV chef. I said, listen, let's go back to Tony. He said, it'll be all right to see you. I said, yeah, he's my mate, it'll be fine. And I've gone back, and you are a bag of nerves. You're standing there in your underpants going, all right, Shane, I'm just ironing my shirts. So it's the only way I can calm my nerves, ironing my shirts. And it was a real big eye-opener. Absolutely an icon. I'm watching an icon in wife fronts, ironing his own shirts, going, in half an hour, this bloke's going to be entertaining thousands of people on stage, and I cannot get this image out of my head.
But you know what? I end up sometimes, because the band, they're terrible. I'm actually quite domesticated, actually. I'm very domesticated.
You've got a bit of OCD.
And sometimes... yeah, I've got a touch of OCD, I must admit. Yeah. And so I like ironing my own shirts. I mean, I get offers, I'll iron your shirt. No. I'll do my own shirts, thanks very much. And I'll do yours as well, because you don't know how to iron. But that's the thing. People, for some reason, and all these talent shows and everything else, and you say to kids these days, say, what do you want to do? I say, I want to be famous. I want to be famous. What do you do? Well, I sing a bit, I dance a bit. But why do you want to be famous? Because it's wonderful, it's amazing. And actually, when you get there and you get the fame, it's a wonderful job that you get paid for, but you're the same as everybody else, unless you want to live in a bubble.
We're of an age now, Tony, where we remember that fame was the byproduct of talent.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? I never went into this business. I never even thought about fame. I mean, I've seen you interview. You, as a child, you watched Top of the Pops, and one day you thought you'd be on there. But that was to tick a box. It was never to be famous. You wanted to be a singer, and I know your favourites are the great Tony Bennett, Archer, all the great singers, and you aspired to be that good. I don't think you ever aspired to be as famous as them. And it's like when I started off as an actor, I wanted to be as good as Robin Williams, Tom Hanks, these guys I remember watching. And, when I was doing stand-up comedy, I wanted to be as good as Billy Connolly. I never, ever wanted to be as famous. And when I went into the game show world, I wanted to be as good as Forsyth and Monkhouse. Never once did I think I want to be as famous as. Now, unfortunately, we live in a society where I meet young actors that say, oh, yeah, I'd like to be in EastEnders because you must be really famous. And they forget about the got to do. You turn around clubs, me doing the, rep theatre for literally no money, doing plays in Hull and sleeping on people's floorboards because you were so passionate about being in the industry. And I don't think that exists anymore, sadly.
Yeah, I think there's thank God there are still bands and artists that are doing it from the grassroots up. And I've got nothing against these talent shows, nothing at all. No. But you're right, there's something, for some reason, they think it's so important to be famous. We've paid our dues. I mean, you started at Pontins as a blue coat. Yeah. I started at Pontins, singing at Pontins Holiday Camp.
You went to Wick Ferry, didn't you?
Yeah, we went to Wick Ferry. So my mum and dad always used to take us on. We used to go on holiday. We used to have 2 holidays a year. Right. We used to go Easter, Wick Ferry, Pontins, and then we go to Breen Sands in the summer.
Pontins.
And that's Pontins, always Pontins. We didn't go to Butlins. Pontins was posher.
Because I started at Pontins in 1980. I was at Pakefield. And in 81, I was a blue coat at Breen Sands. But by then, Spandau were taken off by then. So I don't think, Pontins would kind of fallen away by then. Well, I know in your autobiography, there's a great picture of you with the blue coats and Goz, who's been my mate since I was 16, who's my assistant. He's in that picture, and he takes great pride knowing that you come second in a talent competition.
It was we had so much fun. That was great. And our great mate Ian Royce, got to mention him because he was. And I'm not even going to ask what you two got up to at holiday camps. But it was great fun, though, was it? As a blue coat, you were like the girls used to look up to you and go, "Oh, is he lovely? He's a blue coat." You were like rock stars in your own right at Pontins.
Oh, mate, well, Pontins was the place. I mean, because I was out of work as an actor in 1980, and then the go-to newspaper at the time was The Stage for out-of-work comics, actors, and there was an advert that said, "Would you like to be a Pontins blue coat?" So I auditioned at 15, got the job in March when I just turned 16, and I had to forge my medical certificate to convince people I was 18. So I worked illegally for about 3 seasons, but then the seasons only lasted. I mean, now they're open all year round. They're 52 weeks a year, but back then they were only 10 weeks. It was seasonal work. And so then from doing the summer season, I go back on the road and do plays and, audition for dramas and all that. And then after doing a couple of seasons, my stand-up act kind of grew. And from there, I stopped. Knocked the acting on the head and become a stand-up comic, not thinking for 1 minute I'd end up doing game shows. That was never on the agenda for me to host game shows. But as soon as that happened in the 80s, I thought, okay, if I've got a career at this, I've got to be really good at it. So, like I said, I would look at the greats, your Monkhouses, your Bruce guys. But I mean, who were you listening to back then, though, before Spandau?
My go-to listening before Spandau would have been, I was really I liked a bit of ska, loved a bit of ska. First record I ever bought was David Ansel Collins' Double Barrel. And the Magnificent Humbag, but the Shed, great record. But into Queen, Bebop Deluxe, Roxy, Mark Bolan, Bowie, Rod, Elton. I mean,
but who was your mum and dad listening to?
Well, see, they were listening to and I was into punk as well. I was very much into punk.
I know.
So, but my mum and dad used to every Sunday sort of mid-morning, my dad would put the records on: Frank Sinatra, Jack Jones, Ella Fitzgerald, Tony Bennett, Mel Torme, all those kind of greats. And my mum said to me, I know you like the punk, love. I know you like the punk music and the rock music, but if you want to be a singer, because she knew I'd already won several competitions to go to talent competitions at Pontins. She said, but if you want to be a singer, not that that neither of them wanted me to be a singer, to be honest. They wanted me to go to university.
Did you want to be a professional singer at that point?
Yeah. I originally, I don't know if you know this, I originally wanted to be a surgeon, but I wasn't good enough at the maths, physics and chemistry. Discovered music, used to record myself singing along to mum and dad's records or bit of Rod or whatever, or Queen. And then I thought, I'm all right, I'm not too bad. And that's what set me off on the road.
So when you started singing, was your voice very similar? That tone you have now, was you working on that tone back then? That kind of, because you have such a unique voice, mate. You generally do.
To be honest, when I was singing, I think the first song I ever sung was Lady Madonna, and I think we were at Breen Sands. Lady Madonna, got to the da 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 da. Forgot the words in front of 400 people.
Right.
And I bowled off stage, and I thought, just try and hold it together. I was so upset, I can't tell you. I was about 14, 15.
Okay.
And I don't know how I sounded then, but I did, I think, listening, John Keeble actually has got some old tapes of when we were like the Makers and stuff like that. And I did have quite a distinctive voice. But then, I went through my Sinatra, Bennett, Mario Lanza period where I became a little bit semi-operatic. So
is this why you were with Spandau, though? You did this?
Yeah, no, this were Spandau, because Spandau, we were a school band. We were called the Roots. Then we were called the Cut. Then the Makers. Then Gentry. Didn't have a name. Got a synthesizer, and the clubs opened, the Blitz and Billies.
Yeah.
And then we became Spandau Ballet. And if you listen to Cut Long Story Short, it's very to cut along. It's very hard. It's kind of slightly theatrical.
There is something very operatic about it. But when you were
Yeah.
singing something like that, would you be referencing like your Mario Lanzas? Would you
No.
ever think? Would you not?
No, not
But
at
do you
all.
think now, subconsciously, when you hear it, you kind of go, "Oh my God, there is a little bit of something there."
I was a bit poncy.
Would you?
I was a little bit. I mean, some people. I remember some of the reviews sometimes. Like, honestly, it was like, "Who does this fella think he is?" You know. But you, because your thing is country, isn't it? That's your.
Yeah, that kind of. But mate, I've loved country. Not so much country, year hard, stand by your man country.
Yeah.
But the country thing happened purely by accident, mate. Listen, I'll tell you, to be honest. I don't think I've told many people this. When Bradley, we all know Bradders.
Who sold more albums than any other flipping artist.
But he did an album which obviously did really well, and then every record company kind of jumped on the bandwagon. Now, if you remember, back in 1996, we both were on the same label. Was it Polygram TV? Were you with Polygram?
Yeah, with Brian Berg.
Right, but I bought an album out. You had an album, and mine got shelved by Woolworths. Now, Woolworths was the biggest go-to because the Spice Girls split up, and they were doing the best of. And I think a couple of other big artists. I think they probably looked after you. But I mean, that album, for me, I had the Wet producer on it. I'd lot there, Rick Taylor, who did all the arrangements for Elton John. We recorded at Jacob Studios, big orchestra stuff. There was like 10 covers, 3 originals. And it was Brian Berg, and I was doing all the publicity. We did the videos. And then Woolworths at the last minute, who were the big go-to boys back then, weren't they? They were the ones that certainly for artists like me. The Spice Girls split up. And then they said, "Oh, we're going to bring out the back catalogue of the Spice Girls plus the greatest hits." So a few albums have got to fall by the wayside, and mine was one of them. Yeah. And I think yours came out at the same time. But anyway, so then
I suffered from the same problem, mate. I tell you.
Yeah, and then the country thing happened because I was going out in my band, playing a few festivals, country fair, and I was really getting into playing some original stuff. And then the record company, Warner, said, "Oh, we'd like you to do an album of a swing album." I went, "Nah, I'm not doing it because I don't do that with my live set." And then they said, "What would you want to do?" I said, "Oh, I want to do a country album." Before I could even finish, they sent me a list of songs. Absolutely true, Tony. They
really?
said, "Maybe you could do Islands in the Stream as a duet with Jesse, who plays Cat. Maybe bring in some of your mates we'll do a Billy Joe Spears, Blanket on the Ground. You can do Riders in the..." And I went, "Oh, you're missing the point here, guys. This is not what..." So I sent them some stuff by John Pardy, Keith Urban, a lot of these big artists, you know, and then it kind of let me get on with it. And with hindsight, it went to #1 in the UK country charts, but you only need to sell 2.
Outsold Dolly Parton as well.
Yeah, outsold. Twain. But I mean, mate, and we won't talk about how badly or good it did in the normal charts. I've lost you. You're cutting out. Hello?
Hello, kid.
But, mate, that was just something. That was a moment that I really enjoyed doing live gigs with my band, you know, and you miss it enormously now.
Oh, but
then let me take you back now.
Go on.
So there I was doing musical theatre, did Grease, did Scrooge, Boogie Nights, done all these musicals. And then I get a phone call from my mate, Tony, who says, "Listen, you know, I've just had a bad court case with the boys." And I remember all that because you were spending time my house before that happened. Both going through some personal traumas. Okay, we know that. Said, "I'm going to go into musical theatre." I went, "You can shut the... What?" You said, "I've been asked to Chicago.
Chicago.
How did that come about? That you were going to go from a selling icon to going into... Listen, every credit to you. I mean, you were probably one of the very first that kind of, you know, since then, you know, Kemps have done it. Old Marty Pello's done it. A few of them have now pop stars.
It's almost become the norm now, you know. And I mean, especially if you failed X Factor career, you sort of move into musical theatre. No. I tell you what happened. So I always wanted to record swing. I love swing, but what I didn't want to do, I did not want to make a "Come Fly With Me." You know, Robbie's done it, Westlife's done it. Everybody had done the standards, the Sinatra standards, and I thought, I don't want to do it. So my album was much more based on Tony Bennett, I Want to Be Around, and Jack Jones and stuff. More obscure, more Frankie Vaughan, more obscure stuff. So, which has always probably didn't do me any good because nobody knew the songs, but they were great songs. I really, really passionately wanted to do it. So I had this album, worked so hard on it, I was so happy with it. And then Chicago, I just got a call. I literally just got a call. Do you fancy doing Chicago? And it was the only live show with a proper live orchestra on stage. And I thought, hold it, it's kind of Chicago jazz, could time with the album. See, I'm thinking out of the box, you know. Yeah. So I thought, hold it a minute, this could work. So here's the rub, right? So I went down to see it. I went down to see it with Ali and my mum. And I sat there and I went, this is a piece of cake. 3 songs and a bit of dialogue. Easy. Yeah, I'll do it. Then, so you'll know this being an actor and everything. Go on. Then I get the script and you get the old green pen or the yellow pen and you start, oh, that's my bit. That's my bit. What? Hold it a minute. I didn't know there was a monologue in it and everything. And I then started to get really nervous. I mean, I was on the phone to you, so I don't know what I'm going to do. 3.5 weeks rehearsal. I had the script by the side of my bed, and literally I'd wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. Oh, thank God for that. The first night, the opening night, I've never been so nervous in all my life. It was the most terrifying experience.
There's something about being naked on stage. Yeah. Got to work for someone else's parameters. They're not your parameters. Yeah. They're not your rules. They're someone else's rules. This is how musical theatre works. You're not Tony Hadley, you're Billy Flynn. So this is, and mate, I thought you were brilliant. And I can't understand why you
done
more.
I've been asked to do more, but I kind of put it in a box. I got asked to tour it, you know, right. But I just didn't fancy slipping it around for a year. So I didn't fancy that because I wanted to get on with music, and I didn't want to become a musical theatre. I wanted to get on with my music. Yeah. But you, because I've seen you, and I don't think a lot of people know this. Don't think a lot of people know this, but when you've done straight plays, what you did with Jesse and Laura Whitmore, I went to see you with Ali, and we came up to see you with Jesse and another play with Laura, and I thought you were amazing. I'm not blowing smoke. I thought, because to be on stage, and I said to you at the time, how do you remember all that dialogue? I mean, Chicago was nothing compared to, it was just the two of you on stage, and it was incredible. And honestly, brilliant.
Here's the thing, and you do the same. The hard part is making it look easy. Once you make it look easy, everyone thinks they can do it. Hence, when you get shows like X Factor, Britain's Got. Listen, like I said, I've got nothing against these shows. Yeah. But it's like Panto. You've seen me in Panto many years.
I love you in Panto.
Yeah, and I enjoy doing it. But the amount of people over the last 30, 40 years I've done Panto with, reality stars or people that have been in the business 20 minutes, and they think they can do it. And I've always stuck by this, mate. You know, where you've met singers that have gone, oh, yeah, I can sing, perform and all that. Once you make it look easy, everyone thinks you can do it. And that's the hard part. It's like when I host game shows. It's when I do even EastEnders. People go, oh, yeah, Shane's just being himself. Really? Well, if that's the case, that's the hard part, making it look easy.
That really annoys me. When people say, they say, well, you know, Richard Gere's just playing himself. Robert De Niro's just playing himself. Do you know how hard it is to play yourself and look as though you're as natural as anything? And you see so many actors, and we all know a few, and you can see it going because they're thinking about the script as they're doing it. And they feel so self-conscious about what they're doing. And that's, you know, when I've seen you, whether it be a straight play or the Panto, you never dry up. It's just, all right, yeah, well, hey. And it's...
Well, Panto's great for that because I always work on the premise. No two shows are the same. And the rules are whatever I want them to be. And that's when you do something like a drama or EastEnders or a play, the constraints are someone else's. Do you know what I mean? Because they've created the writer or the producer. Whereas Panto... Listen, how many times when you've been in the audience, and I make sure the rest of the audience know that you're there, because all the gags I do about you and Spandau and with the kids in there, and all that.
Do you know? You keep saying to me every year. You say, I'm going to get you into panto
Yeah,
one year.
why have you not? Do you still not fancy it?
No, I can't. I don't know.
Why?
But when I was a prawn, I was a lobster or a prawn. So,
What are you talking about?
well, you know, right? Okay, Andy Collins.
Oh, right.
BBC Three Counties. Andy Collins normally does Le Voir, and they do the Waterside Theatre at Aylesbury. We always go. We always come and see you. We go and see him, and we try and see Bobby Dabro as well.
Yeah.
So anyway, he said, "Here, Tony, would you be a prawn or a lobster this year?" He said, "You're not actually on stage. We'll just get someone to put a lobster outfit on, but can you do the voice for it?" Hello, I'm Tony Hadley.
Oh no!
And I think a few golds come out. And at one point, I was in the theatre, and people said, "Is that really you?" Don't be stupid. I'm sitting in the audience watching me.
Well, now I know you've done that for him. I'm going to hold you to that. Something to do.
Shane, mate, honestly, we could talk for hours and hours. I mean, we go back so many years, and there are so many things that you've done that I've done. But listen, would you mind coming back and doing a part 2 with us? And because I want to talk to you about I'm a Celebrity. We haven't even touched on EastEnders yet.
Lady C. Can we talk about Lady C?
We could talk about Lady C if we can talk about EastEnders and all the gossip that went on there.
I've just got one of the Kemp brothers on the phone. No, he's not. Listen, I'll catch up with you, Tony. Listen,
Hey, mate,
Gary,
listen, great to see you.
Gary, he's not interested. Now, right, yeah. See you, Tone. Take care, mate. Bye.
Bye.
Stars, Cars, Guitars was produced by Tom Stroud.